Ever wondered if witches truly exist among us? What if they have been living in our society, unnoticed since time immemorial? A tantalizing thought, isn't it? The enigma of witches, the allure of the unknown, the mystique that surrounds their existence. It's a captivating tale that stretches back to the dawn of civilization. Let's embark on a journey, a quest to uncover the truth behind these intriguing characters. A journey that will take us from the ancient world to the heart of our contemporary society. In the annals of history, witches have always been a subject of fascination and fear, reverence and revulsion. Their stories are woven into the fabric of our past, intertwined with the threads of our culture, our beliefs, and our understanding of the world. From the wise women and seers of ancient times, with their profound knowledge of nature and the arcane, to the feared and persecuted figures of the Middle Ages, accused of sorcery and consorting with the devil. But what if I told you that the story of witches didn't end in the past, that it didn't fade away with the advent of science and reason, that it's still here, alive and thriving, in the 21st century? Yes, it's true. Witches are not just figures of folklore or characters in a Halloween tale. They are here now, living among us, hidden in plain sight. As we traverse the timeline, we'll delve into the evolution of witchcraft, the transformation of its practices, and its role in society. We'll explore how the perception of witches has changed over time and how it continues to shape our world today. We'll uncover the secrets that lie beneath the surface, the truths that are often obscured by myths and misconceptions. Are you ready to dive into the enigma of witches? Are you prepared to question what you think you know and challenge your preconceptions? This journey is not for the faint of heart. It will require an open mind, a curious spirit, and a thirst for knowledge. As we embark on this journey, let's unravel the mysteries of witches from the depths of antiquity to the heart of our contemporary world. The concept of witches is not new. It finds its roots in the ancient civilizations, where they were both feared and revered. Our journey begins in the sun-drenched lands of ancient Egypt. Here, magic was a part of everyday life. It was believed that witches, or Heka as they were known, possessed the ability to harness the forces of nature and the divine. They were respected figures, often called upon to perform healing rituals and provide counsel during times of crisis. As we move westward to ancient Greece, the image of the witch begins to shift. In Greek mythology, witches like Circe and Medea were depicted as powerful women who used their knowledge of potions and herbs to manipulate circumstances to their favor. However, they were also feared for their ability to curse and harm, a fear that was deeply ingrained in the society. The Roman Empire, too, was not devoid of witches. They were known as striga or venefica, the latter literally translating to poison maker. Similar to their Greek counterparts, Roman witches were believed to have the power to control fate through spells and curses. Despite this sinister reputation, they also had a beneficial role. Many were sought after for their skills in medicine and prophecy. These ancient societies had a complex relationship with witches. On one hand, they were admired for their healing capabilities and their supposed connection to the divine. On the other, they were feared for their potential to cause harm through their magical abilities. Many of the rituals and practices associated with witchcraft in these times involved the use of herbs, charms, and incantations. These were believed to harness the energy of the natural world, allowing the witch to manipulate it for various purposes, whether for healing, prophecy, or more nefarious ends. From revered healers to feared sorcerers, witches held a complex position in ancient societies. But as centuries passed, perceptions began to change dramatically. As we move into the Middle Ages, the image of witches takes a dark turn. During this time, the fear and hysteria around witches escalated dramatically, largely due to the infamous witch trials. These were a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft, often leading to public executions. They were rooted in the belief that witches were heretics, apostates who had abandoned the Christian faith and turned to the devil. The witch trials were not just confined to one area or country, but swept across Europe and even reached the shores of North America. The most notorious of these, perhaps, is the Salem witch trials, where mass hysteria led to the execution of 20 people and the imprisonment of many more. But where did this fear originate? To understand that, we must delve into the role of the Church during the Middle Ages. The Church was a dominant force, influencing not just religion, but also politics and societal norms. It was during this period that the Church began to associate witches with evil and devil worship, a stark contrast from the revered healers and seers of ancient times. The Malleus Maleficarum, or the Hammer of Witches, played a significant role in this. Published in the late 15th century, it was essentially a guide for identifying, hunting, and prosecuting witches. It further propagated the belief that witches were in league with the devil, leading to the increased persecution of those suspected of witchcraft. This negative portrayal of witches was so ingrained that it persisted for centuries. Witches were seen as malevolent, dangerous beings, a far cry from the wise women of antiquity. They were blamed for everything from failed crops to diseases, and even the misfortune of others. The Middle Ages painted a dark picture of witches, one that would persist for centuries, but as we move into the modern era, we see a shift in perceptions. The next chapter of our journey will explore how the image of witches has evolved in the contemporary world. But that, dear listeners, is a tale for another time. Fast forward to the present day, and the perception of witches has undergone a radical transformation. We no longer see witches as malevolent beings cloaked in darkness, but as individuals who choose to walk a different spiritual path. This shift in understanding has allowed witches to reclaim their image and step out of the shadows. In our modern world, witchcraft has seen a resurgence, but it's not the same as the witchcraft of old. Today, it's more about self-improvement, healing, and connection with nature. It's a spiritual practice that many find empowering and enlightening. One of the most well-known modern witchcraft practices is Wicca, a pagan witchcraft religion that emerged in the mid-20th century. Wicca is often misunderstood, but at its core, it's about reverence for nature, balance, and personal growth. Wiccans celebrate the cycles of the moon and the changing of the seasons, and they believe in the power of both masculine and feminine energies. They don't cast malicious spells or aim to harm others. Instead, they use their practices for healing, protection, and positive change. But Wicca is just one form of modern witchcraft. There are many witches today who don't follow any specific tradition but create their own path, blending different practices and beliefs that resonate with them. They might use crystals, herbs, tarot cards, or meditation as part of their craft. Some witches work alone, while others join covens or communities where they can share knowledge and rituals. In the modern world, witches are not the villains of fairy tales or the persecuted of history. They are individuals seeking a deeper connection with the world around them, using their craft to foster positivity and growth. They are healers, teachers, and seekers who have chosen a different spiritual path, one that is often misunderstood but is deeply meaningful to them. In the present day, witches have reclaimed their image, shedding the fear and negativity of the past. They have stepped into the light as embodiments of empowerment, spirituality, and connection with nature. So, do witches truly live among us today? The answer might surprise you. In our modern society, witches have traded their pointy hats for jeans and t-shirts. They blend seamlessly into our everyday world, from the busy cities to the quiet countryside. They might be your neighbors, colleagues, or even friends. They are ordinary people with extraordinary beliefs and practices, quietly living their truth. These contemporary witches use their craft in subtle ways. They might harness the energy of the moon, tap into the power of herbs and crystals, or simply meditate to connect with the natural world. They're not brewing potions in cauldrons or casting malevolent spells, but rather using their practices for personal growth, healing, and positive change. We've heard many fascinating stories from self-proclaimed witches, like Sarah, a teacher from New York who uses her knowledge of herbs to create soothing teas for her friends, or James, a software engineer in London, who meditates under the full moon to find clarity and inspiration for his work. They are just regular people, living ordinary lives with a touch of magic. Emphasizing their normality and humanity is crucial. They are not the villains of fairy tales or the outcasts of society. They are individuals who have found a unique path that brings them joy and fulfillment, yet they are often misunderstood. Many face prejudice and skepticism due to misconceptions rooted in centuries-old fears and superstitions. But these modern witches are resilient, often using these challenges as opportunities to educate and enlighten those around them about their practices and beliefs. In the grand scheme of things, their existence adds a dash of mystery and wonder to our mundane world. It reminds us that there's more to life than what meets the eye. That magic in its many forms is real and tangible. They might not ride broomsticks or cast malevolent spells, but witches in their own right continue to exist among us, adding a dash of mystery to our everyday world.